Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse.
Hey there, lunatics. Today we are going to be working on a burn build. Now, this build is actually different if you're doing it with melee or with ranged, and today we're going to go over both. So let's get started. Alright, so first things first, all of these items are level 19. You can level them up at the upgrade station. We have got the full set of magma armor. All three of these pieces are found in the magma subbiome. They drop off of Igneous, the slime boss there. In fact, almost all of this gear is found in the magma subbiome. For example, the flame necklace, which we'll be using on our neck, this will also be found in the molten quarry. So will the smithing gloves, as well as the flame rings. The difference is that the magma armor is found off of Igneous the boss, and the rest of these items will be found as you are exploring the magma subbiome because they drop off of butterflies, they drop off of slimes, they're from destructible crates and various chests. You're also going to need the orb lantern for the melee build, and this orb lantern can be crafted at the Scarlet Workbench. And you will also need Morpha's bubble bag, which drops off of the slime boss Morpha in the Sunken Sea. Our weapon of choice here is the lava battle axe, which again also drops in the molten quarry. All in all, this brings us to a total unbuffed of 497 burn damage. Now that's great for the melee gear, but what about for ranged? Is it exactly the same? Turns out no. Ranged actually requires a few alterations in order to really make it viable, especially in hard mode. Let's take a look at those changes. So for a ranged build, we are using the Fireball Staff, which drops in the Forgotten Ruins off of the Caveling Shamans. You can also get it off of Malagaz. We're also going to replace the helm with the Shaman Skull, which you also can get off of Malagaz in the Forgotten Ruins. The reason that we're doing this is because in the melee build, you don't need the 14% chance on hit to consume target's burning effect, as the pet will do that. But for the ranged person, we are not using the same pet. And so I want to have a chance in order to get the burning effect consumed. And so we switch out the helm in order for me to continue to have that chance. The necklace that we're switching out to is Pydra's necklace. Now this does less burning damage, but it does increase the overall damage that I do against burning targets, which equals to about an extra 100 to 200 damage per hit. Pydra's necklace can be found off of the Hydra boss Pydra. The lantern has been replaced with the Pearl Lantern. This is craftable at the Octarine Workbench. We're also replacing one ring with the Polished Glow Tulip ring. Now, the Polished Glow Tulip ring can be crafted at the Jewelry Workbench, provided that your crafting skill is high enough. This gives us some mana regen, which is sorely needed for this build. And finally, we are using the Scholar Backpack, again for some extra mana and magic damage. The Scholar Backpack drops off of any of the Hydra bosses, as well as the Atlantean Worm. This leaves us with a total of 366 burn damage. So why are we sacrificing burn damage on this build? Well, we need the mana regen. So that's really the main reason why. I tried it without changing any of the other burn items, and I just replaced the axe with the staff, and it was not great. I couldn't kill any bosses. It was just a mess. But once I made a few tweaks and put the build together like this, everything started to become a little bit more viable. So now let's take a look next at pets. For the melee version of this build, I am using an Embertail. And the main thing I'm doing with the Embertail is I am applying Flaming Treat. I've looked for an Embertail that has all 5 of their skills at Flaming Treat, and now I have a 75% chance on hit to consume the target's burning effect and deal the total burning damage immediately. Now, the reason that we do this is because the burning damage from the pet and from myself is not going to stack. So I don't need the pet to do a decent amount of burning damage because it's not going to matter. What I do want the pet to do is I want the pet to essentially do this flaming treat effect to consume the burning and do the extra damage. That's all I really want from the pet. Every time it does this, it's going to do like 3,000 points of damage to the enemy. Most of the time when the pet does that, it's just going to kill the enemy flat out. Because it doesn't matter if the pet's burn damage is active or my burn damage is active. What matters is that there is burn damage active. And this ability from the pet will trigger and just instantly consume that burn damage, even if it's not pet's burn damage. Now, for the magic build, I have gone with an arcane symbiote, though a snuggly grade would also work. The key here is getting the mana regen. In this case, I have 3 mana regens, which really is enough, but if you can get 4 or 5, that's even better. I also happened to get lucky and got some triple troubles, so I just went ahead and did that as well. It proved to be a big lifesaver from a damage standpoint. If you can get your arcane symbiote to have at least 1 triple trouble as well, that's a big plus for this build. When it comes to your skills, there's really nothing in most of these skills that matters. You can build this out any way that you want to and use your skill build however you design. The only ones that have some areas that actually matter a little bit start in the magic tree, where we want to have abilities that restore mana or delay our mana regeneration reduction. So, for example, mana recharge is very helpful here. Mana channeling is also extremely helpful here. So these are skills that you want to focus on the magic tree. The summoning tree doesn't really matter that much, although you can get a small boost to your magical damage if you have at least 1 active minion going, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world for this build. On the explosive tree, this is where things actually get really specific. You want to move down through the middle to get Mana Blast. Even though you probably won't really use the mana regeneration abilities for it, you can though if you keep a little bit of grenade on you. That'll be helpful. What's really important is getting afterburn, because that increases your burning damage by 50%. And for the ranged build, having napalm as well can be helpful, because the fireball staff does do explosive damage that is affected by napalm if you use the secondary attack. Please check out my video on food buffs for what kind of buffs and foods I like to use whenever I'm testing this and fighting all my bosses, or whenever I just need a buff in general. When it comes to melee, you will notice that this build functions very similar to most of my other builds. You pretty much just have to start attacking and burning the boss down. Phase 1 can be done in 2, sometimes 3 steps, depending on how quick you are with the damage. And Phase 2 should only take about 2 stages in order to get it down completely. It's a good idea with the melee and with the ranged to try to hit on the core commander these orbs at least once each one, so that they get the burn damage going, and they'll continue to take some damage even when you're not there paying attention to them. You'll notice that you'll probably be getting between 20 and 30k crits with this build. At least that's what I've noticed for myself. Overall, this build does pretty well against all of the bosses, even on hard mode. For the magic version of this, you're kind of relying on the triple trouble to do most of the big hitting, as you can get some really, really big crits with the fireball staff, especially on this boss. I think I triple troubled once during my initial testing for over 100k. So this can definitely be a high damage and very effective build. The only problem with it is that it really, really struggles with mana regen. That's why I made the changes that I did to at least ensure that we aren't waiting long periods of time for mana regen. Like right now, you can tell I'm kind of struggling a little on the mana. My attacks have slowed as a result, but I'm still moving through at a decent pace. I could probably just give it a second and stop attacking, let my mana build back up a little bit, let the burn damage do its thing, and then come around here and do a little bit more. Because it doesn't matter if you're hitting it really, really hard with every single hit. You've got burn damage ticking away, so you're always going to be doing a little bit of damage, even if you aren't actively attacking the boss. As you can see, I still managed to do the boss's phase 1 in only 2 drops of the orbs. It can easily take 3 or 4 drops of the orbs if you don't have the mana regen going. And as you can see, even the magic build is fully viable, provided that you make those little tweaks so that you can get that burst of burn damage, as well as just that little extra bit of regular damage per hit. And that mana regen, oh, that mana regen, it makes all the difference in the magic version of the build. Alright everyone, and that's pretty much this whole thing. We've got 2 different versions of the build, one melee, one magic, but both absolutely kick-ass and can conquer the bosses even on hard mode. So if you liked this video, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my content. I stream regularly, so come join me for some of my streams. I do that both here on YouTube and on Twitch. So thank you guys all for your support. I can't do this without you. I really appreciate you. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay crazy.